What's up, YouTube? It's Kenny again. I want to make another video about Hyliion. That last video has been super popular, and man, I've gained a lot of subscribers. So welcome to all you guys, all you Hyliion fans that have subscribed based on that video. So I wanted to expand a little bit, okay? I've had some arguments made on that last video, and I think that there are a lot of people out there who still aren't understanding my argument, okay? Because they have a fundamental lack of understanding of the truck driving industry, okay? So hit that subscribe button and like the video, all right? It'll help me grow this channel. And let's get into it. Right, so a lot of the arguments that I'm seeing, and first of all, for those of you who may not have watched my other videos on Hyliion, I suggest you go back and watch those. I've made an argument about why I think Hyliion is the only one of these companies that is going to be able to be successful, at least over the next several years, in the trucking industry. And let me just expand on that a little bit, okay? Because some of the comments that I got are like, well, Tesla has a bunch of pre-orders and stuff, okay? Well, there's a difference between local truck driving and what I do, okay? Tesla probably does have a bunch of pre-orders, and they probably will do well in the local delivery type space, okay? You got your 18-wheelers that run around town humping 12 packs, okay? What these guys do is they go home every night, they wake up in the morning, they go get in their truck, and they load it full of Coca-Cola, and they go to all the stores, and they hump 12 packs, and they stock the shelves. And you know, same thing with potato chips and candy and all kinds of stuff. But these guys are local delivery, okay? And that's different. And you know, it's not to denigrate them when I say I'm a real truck driver. Somebody said, oh, real truck driver. You know, it's not to denigrate them, but they're not really truck drivers, okay? They drive a truck around local truck, you know. Okay, look at this. Their truck don't have this. Okay, that's my bed. That's where I sleep. And you probably can't see it, but you know, I got a bed, I got a microwave, I got a refrigerator, okay? I don't run around locally humping 12 packs, okay? I drive on the road. I am out 6 weeks. I sleep in the truck for that whole 6 weeks. I eat in the truck. I sleep in the truck. Okay? There's a big difference. And you know, while yes, there are a lot of drivers doing local stuff, the vast majority of us are over-the-road truckers, okay? Like somebody else had said, well, I don't know how many of those long-haul type trucks. It's most of us, okay? It's most of us. Like my company is a small to mid-sized company, and we have 600 trucks, and we are all over the country. Like I picked up in Kansas, took that to New Jersey, then I picked up in New Jersey to Georgia. Now I just picked up in Georgia going to California, okay? I'm literally all over the country. And, you know, the Tesla truck will not work for that. It just won't, guys. It won't, for the reasons that I laid out in the other video, okay? When you talk about over-the-road truckers, okay, there are some things you need to understand that from some of the arguments that have been mounted, people obviously don't understand, and that's okay. You know, people that I know don't understand, and they're like, oh, really? You have to do that? And you know, one of the main things that I seem to see people like say is that, well, you know, yeah, it might take an hour or two to charge a truck. I mean, you probably are charging in an hour. First of all, I don't think you'll be able to charge in an hour. If you get a truck that's going to do 800 miles on a charge, I do not believe that you will be able to plug that truck into something and be charged in an hour. I don't believe it, okay? Maybe at some point in the future, but not right now. I mean, no way, okay? And even if you could, I don't have an hour, guys. Like, really. Like, we don't have an hour. Okay? if you just do a cursory examination of how long we can drive in a day, you might think, well, 11 hours, you can drive 11 hours, so you got time to stop for an hour and charge or something. Okay, but here's what you don't understand, all right? First of all, the DOT regulates us heavily, our hours, okay? But what I think a lot of people don't understand is that it's not just the driving hours that they regulate. From the time you get a commercial driver's license, the rest of your life has to be logged, okay? That means if I'm asleep, my log is on off duty. If I'm at home, my log is on off duty. If I'm in the sleeper berth, my log is on sleeper berth. If I'm getting fuel, my log is on fuel. If I'm unloading, my log is on unloading. Okay, so it's all regulated, all right? And here's how it works. There are 3 clocks, okay? One clock is your driving clock, okay? You're allowed to drive 11 hours a day, maximum, okay? And that's the one I think a lot of people kind of go by and understand, kind of. They say, well, you're allowed to drive 11 hours a day. We also have a 14-hour clock, okay? From the time that you wake up in the morning and do the very first thing, you have 14 hours to be finished. That clock doesn't stop, okay? From the time you do the first thing, you have 14 hours to be finished for the day, okay? And then we also have a 70-hour clock that is in any 8-day period. We are only allowed to be any combination of on-duty type status or driving for 70 hours in any 8-day period, okay? Now I want you to understand that we are constantly racing against these clocks, constantly bumping up against these clocks, and that's the way things are now. The way things are now, there are many, many times that I run out of hours on my 14-hour clock and still don't get to drive 11 hours because there's other things that have to be done in there. You have to log 15 minutes for loading, 15 minutes for unloading. You have to log 15 minutes for fueling. These are minimums, okay? You have to log your 30-minute break. You know, that's all on your 14-hour clock, okay? Or the break is on your 14-hour clock. So what I'm trying to impress upon you is that we don't have an hour to charge, okay? The only way an electric solution works where you have to plug it into a charger is if I can pull in for the day, plug it in for a charge, and then get in a sleeper berth and log off duty for the rest of the night, okay? Is that safe? Is that something that I can safely do? Can I plug that in, let it sit there all night while I sleep? I don't know, man. I don't know if that's something that's safe. Is it even, possible? I mean, it's certainly not possible right now because there's nowhere to charge the truck. But the only way it becomes possible is if there are parking places at all these truck stops that have charging stations. There will have to be individual charging stations at parking spots so that you can pull in for the night, plug your truck in, and go to sleep. That's the only way it works, guys. You have to be able to charge that truck fully and get 800 miles out of it the next day before it has to be charged, because some guys' trucks are faster than others because of companies govern trucks at different speeds. Our company is a slow company and our trucks are governed at 65 miles an hour. So like today, because I've got a full day of driving, I'll probably do 640 miles today. Okay? Now, other guys are governed at 75, 70. They're going to do 740 miles a day. The truck's got to be able to do 800 miles. And it's got to be able to do 800 miles not just on flat ground. It's got to be able to do 800 miles climbing hills and shit like that. So really it needs to be able to do, like 900 or so on flat ground. That's just like, it's going to use a lot more power going up hills and stuff like that. Going up a big ass hill right now. Sorry, it's my pre-pass. I'm going past the way station. So you have to understand that there are a lot of variables in this thing that people are not understanding, and it's okay okay that people are not understanding it, okay? The fact is that once Hyliion gets ready and their trucks are ready to roll out, these companies are going to jump on that shit, and they're not going to jump on Tesla because it's just not viable. That's all there is to it. Hyliion is the only one that has 1,000 miles of range and that you can fuel all over the country already, okay? And when I say that, it's not that every truck stop has a natural gas fueling station, okay? But a lot of them do. Probably maybe half, close to it, have already right now someplace that you can fuel it. Now let's talk a little bit more about the fueling, okay? Nikola uses the hydrogen fuel cell based generator or whatever, however their system actually works. There is nowhere you can fuel hydrogen, nowhere. There's no such thing as a place you can fuel hydrogen for a truck, okay? And the fact of the matter is that hydrogen, if you do the math, okay, and you break it down as an equivalent to diesel fuel, okay, diesel fuel costs you 2-3 plus miles a gallon depending on where you are in the country, okay? If you break down in equivalence, hydrogen right now is about $10 a gallon when you equivocate it to diesel fuel. So it's not a cost savings. And then also hydrogen, like the way most of it is produced, is dirty. So it's not really emissions friendly either. And it's kind of the same thing with electricity. Like, can you imagine how much electricity you have to pump into a truck to do 1,000 miles? Like, can you imagine? I mean, I don't really know what the cost is, but I'll bet that it's more expensive than putting diesel in a truck. And it also is going to really tax the electrical grid. The electrical grid can't really handle that kind of draw from a bunch of trucks, okay? But the study that I saw, or people talking about the studies, said that like charging 3 trucks uses as much electricity as a whole manufacturing plant, okay? That's a lot of fucking electricity, man. That's a lot. And electricity ain't necessarily cheap. And another thing about it, we want these vehicles to be clean, and where does most of the electricity come from? I mean, I'm a big proponent of solar, but it doesn't really come from wind and solar. A small percentage of it right now comes from wind and solar. What's the rest of it come from? Coal, natural gas, these dirty technologies that nuclear and stuff. These are, the electricity itself is not clean. So I don't know, man. I just see that this Hyliion technology is the best thing we got out there right now. And as time goes on, and as things move more toward renewable energy in the electric grid, and the ability to fuel hydrogen when it comes when the price comes down enough for it to be effective, as far as hydrogen goes, the Hyliion system, all they got to do is slap a different kind of generator in there and different fuel storage, and they got hydrogen. I mean, their technology works for hydrogen. And I just think that these other types of systems are 10 years out. It's 5-10 years out. Hyliion's ready to go now. So as soon as they start dropping trucks, man, these companies are going to start buying them. Another thing I want to talk about, some people talk about how they don't really make trucks. They make systems to be installed in the trucks, okay? And we're just going to put the hybrid system that they have aside, because I'm not really a fan of that system, to be honest with you. Like the hybrid retrofit type system, like I just don't think that that's viable. I don't think that trucking companies are going to buy those. Like I've said in the other video, we only keep the trucks, 3 to 5 years max. You're going to spend a bunch of money to retrofit the truck to get 20% better fuel mileage. I don't think that that's going to happen, okay? But as far as the fully electric trucks, okay, it is true that Hyliion is using the bodies of other trucks, okay? They're like using a Freightliner body to put their system in, okay? But you have to understand that that's what happens anyway. Okay, you get say you get a Freightliner. Okay, you can get a Cummins in there, a Cummins engine. You can get a Detroit engine. You know, like Kenworth, you can get a Cummins, you can get a Packard, you can get a Detroit. You know, they're already functioning this way. And then, like, on top of that, like, when you think about, like, them either purchasing or having installed these systems into these truck bodies, you already have on the market what's called a glider truck. Okay, if you look that up, a glider truck. And what that is they take a brand new Kenworth, okay, with no engine in it, and they put an old school Detroit in it so that they don't have to have all of the emission systems, okay? Now, for a while, those were super popular, and whole fleets were buying them. You know, they would buy these gliders that had older engines in them so that they didn't have to conform to all the emission standards. Because the emission stuff on these trucks is extremely complex, extremely cantankerous, it breaks down, and extremely expensive to fix, okay? So companies did not want to do that. And and so gliders were born, okay? Now, they have heavily restricted gliders to where they can only make a certain number of them a year now. But these gliders, why not have a glider with this electric system in it? That's what's going to end up happening. I'm telling you, you're going to have these companies just like what Hyliion's talking about. This is what they're talking about. Okay, they're talking about having other companies that will have these truck bodies and install their system in them. It's the same thing as gliders, and gliders were super popular. And so what you've got basically is you still get a badass Kenworth 2021, but you get this other system in it that's more effective or more cost effective, or however you want to look at it, with the original gliders. But now you'll be able to do it with these electric solutions. It's already been done and been popular, super popular. Like, gliders were so popular that they had to regulate it, because otherwise everybody would just be running around in trucks with no emission systems, because the emission systems are garbage. They're super expensive to get fixed, and they got so many sensors. Sensor goes out, it's a couple $1,000 to have it replaced. It's expensive to have trucks worked on, guys. And these emission systems are super cantankerous, and it's just, that's why the gliders became so popular, and that's why these other systems are going to be popular, because it's the same thing. It's just, instead of something that the government is going to want to take away because it's pollutant, it's going to be something the government is going to want to encourage. And then the same result, though, the guys get away from the shitty emission systems in these trucks. And then once that starts to happen, I bet you that even the owner-operators and people who hate technology will be getting on board with it. Once they figure out that they can get them a glider with this electric system in it, and they don't have to pay all the money to get these emission stuff fixed and everything, they'll probably get on board with it then. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen. That's the way it's going to play out. I can see it. I do this every day, and I'm telling you that Hyliion has the only system that's going to be viable. It's the only system that already works with everything in the market right now, with everything that's in the trucking industry right now. It already works with it. There's no big build out that has to occur. It will actually, like the glider companies who can no longer make these gliders like they used to, it's going to be a boon for them. They'll be able to now do their glider thing with electric vehicle components, and I'm telling you, it's going to be good. And when it happens, it's going to happen pretty fast, okay? Now, the stock price is low because people don't understand it. Okay, but the company has a lot of promise going toward the future. It's just that they're not making profits and stuff yet, but they're going to get there. I'm telling you, when their product starts to hit the market, like really hit the market, companies are going to line up to buy it. I'm telling you, okay? Mark my words. Hit that subscribe button. Might be more to come about Hyliion, but I got other things to say too, not just about Hyliion. I drive around here trading stocks all the time, and trade, and I'm going to keep making videos, so you guys stick around. Thanks for watching.